it looks like Jen Rosati and Don Staley and all those folks that Cheryl Reeve, who had a hand in Caitlin Clark not making Team USA last year in the Olympics, the actual committee, looks like they may be gone.
What happens when the most electrifying, most talked about athlete in women's basketball history gets left off the Olympic team? You don't just stir up drama. You start a wildfire that burns through an entire system. Caitlin Clark's Olympic snub wasn't just a controversial choice. It was a turning point that exposed everything broken about USA basketball. And what followed? Heads rolled. Positions were vacated. The entire Olympic selection process got turned upside down. All because they chose not to put a generational star on the court.
I'd rather watch paint dry. I'd rather watch dirt just be moved around. Because Caitlin Clark's not on the team. If she's there, it's appointment TV. You people, whoever did this, honestly, hey, take your brain, put it in a museum, and study it for how dumb you are.
For fans around the world, it felt like a punch in the gut. Here was Caitlin Clark, shattering records, selling out arenas, single-handedly shifting the cultural conversation around women's sports. And somehow, she wasn't good enough to make the cut? The public backlash was immediate and brutal, and what started as one questionable decision quickly snowballed into something much bigger. A complete dismantling of how Team USA picks its players. This wasn't just a snub, it was a revolution in disguise.
It used to be a committee. Dawn Staley, Jennifer Rizzuti, and all of the hooligans associated in picking the USA basketball team. All of the hooligans, Cheryl Reeves included, so full of themselves, so bound by tribalism that they just couldn't look past their own nose. And at the end of the day, look at them now. Look at them now. The same fate as Cheryl Swoops calling those Dallas Wings games. Tell me when I'm telling lies.
Caitlin Clark wasn't just any rookie. She was the rookie, the face of the future. She had already broken nearly every NCAA scoring record, turned Iowa into a national sensation, and brought a level of attention to women's basketball that had never been seen before. Yet when Team USA revealed its 2024 Olympic roster, her name was nowhere to be found. No explanation beyond the vague mention of experience and team fit. And that's when the storm began.
Remember during the Olympics, the person from either South Korea or Japan, holding up the Caitlin Clark sign? Team USA looked at that gentleman and said, $sign, $sign. These people over there in Japan, these people over there in South Korea, they're not paying for Team USA to come and watch hoop, but they'll pay for Caitlin Clark. In fact, they are so strong about voicing that they'll pay for Caitlin Clark, they'll come to the Olympic game holding a sign that says, you guys remember.
Fans couldn't believe it. Overseas supporters were holding up signs at international games, literal handwritten messages begging to see Clark in the Olympics. Ticket prices for WNBA games featuring Caitlin had skyrocketed. Entire cities were selling out arenas just to catch a glimpse of her. And despite all of this, the selection committee decided she didn't belong on a team that needed more than just talent. It needed star power. The optics were awful, and the damage was already done.
Decision on his part. Caitlin Clark is PR. That's where, how can they leave her? Once again, everybody's, out to get her. They don't want to grow the game.
The media circus didn't take long to start. Stephen A. Smith slammed the committee's decision on national television, calling it a massive failure, and accusing Team USA of sabotaging the growth of the women's game. Lisa Leslie, a four-time Olympic gold medalist, called it the biggest marketing mistake in the history of basketball. Even NBA Commissioner Adam Silver weighed in, admitting that he wouldn't have left her off. When your decision draws fire from legends and executives alike, you know you messed up.
We got to remember the National Basketball Association, the NBA, the commissioner, Adam Silver, he came right out and said, I wouldn't have left Caitlin Clark off that team. And he even said, and several others said, women's basketball really dropped the ball on an opportunity to grow the women's game by leaving Caitlin Clark off that team.
And it wasn't just talk. The numbers prove the point. The Indiana Fever's debut game with Clark drew higher TV ratings than the NBA playoffs that same weekend. That's not hype. That's data. Her jersey became the highest-selling rookie jersey in WNBA history within weeks. But the Olympic Committee ignored all of it. Instead of embracing the sport's biggest opportunity to reach new fans globally, they doubled down on their outdated selection system, and it cost them dearly. The gold medal may have stayed in America, but the public trust didn't.
This is about what I will personally label the idiocy of Team USA women's basketball. How dare you make this decision? It's stupid.
Cheryl Reeve, the Team USA coach, tried to distance herself from the selection process, claiming she had no real say in who made the roster. But the truth quickly unraveled that story. Jen Rosati, the selection committee chair, openly admitted they crafted the Olympic roster to fit Reeve's coaching style. That means Reeve's fingerprints were all over it, whether she wants to admit it or not. And when the backlash began, she wasn't willing to take the heat.
Hey, dummies. For the first time, like in the history of basketball, you have arguably a player who is the most popular player in the world. Like, you could argue right now, Caitlin Clark is the most talked about, discussed, most popular, most puts asses in the seats, single basketball player in the world. You could argue that. Yeah, you could say maybe LeBron, Luka, whatever you want, but you can argue it. And you leave her off the Olympics team, it's not only a showcase for her, it's for the sport and the other WNBA players who are on this team. How dumb, how brain dead, how idiotic do the people running this thing have to be?
The entire process looked shady and stuck in the past. It was run like an exclusive club, where veterans were rewarded more for their connections than for their current ability. Players like Diana Taurasi, who many felt were well past their prime, made the cut while the sport's fastest rising star was watching from home. The committee leaned on experience, but experience didn't sell tickets, and it didn't connect with the next generation of fans. Clark did. The disconnect was obvious, and it exposed a system that couldn't survive the spotlight.
I think if Caitlin Clark would have played, it would have been the biggest ratings of the Olympic Games last year. All right, and yeah, I don't know what it could have done to women's basketball.
What followed wasn't just a few angry tweets or some awkward press conferences. USA Basketball took a hit so hard, they were forced to blow the entire thing up. The selection committee? Gone. The decades-old process of secret meetings and vague qualifications? Dismantled. And in their place? A bombshell announcement that no one saw coming. Sue Bird, one of the most respected names in the sport, was stepping in to take full control of the women's national team.
But as a coach of the home team, there's going to be a lot of people cheering for that other side.
I'll get two shits.
How about one?
Not even one shit.
Any second guessing here about not having Clark on the Olympic team?
From me? No.
This wasn't just a new face. It was a full reset. For the first time, USA Basketball would model its women's program after the men's, with a single managing director calling the shots. No more hiding behind a committee, no more coaches deflecting blame, just one person in charge. And that person was Sue Bird. The same Sue Bird who openly supported Clark. The same Sue Bird who understood the marketing power of this new era. The message was loud and clear. The old way had failed, and the future had arrived.
Along with nearly losing the gold medal game to France, the U.S. women's team was caught up in controversy leading up to the Olympics because Caitlin Clark was not on the team. The argument not to take Clark, a rising global megastar in the sport, was in part because she had not participated in many Team USA offseason functions, and also because there were women with more national team experience who had earned the right to play at the Olympics.
If Team USA thought Clark would disappear quietly, they clearly didn't know who they were dealing with. Instead of lashing out, Clark did what she always does. She leveled up. After the Olympic snub, her stats exploded. She didn't just play well, she dominated. Her assists spiked, her scoring soared, and she broke the WNBA rookie record with a jaw-dropping 19 assists in a single game. That wasn't a response. That was a statement.
She is good enough to be on the team. Based on how Caitlin Clark was playing at the time, she was worthy of being on this team. This is Caitlin Clark up against Jewel Lloyd, Diana Taurasi, and Kelsey Plum. Yeah. It's tough when you see it in front of you, right? Chelsea Gray's not even on this graph. Why isn't Chelsea Gray on this graph, you may ask? Great question. Chelsea Gray started the beginning of the season injured.
And it sent shockwaves through the league. Clark had taken disappointment and turned it into fuel. This wasn't a fluke, it was a pattern. Her high school coach once said that Clark grows the most after she's been overlooked. And this was no different. With every pass, every deep three, every crowd erupting in chants of her name, Caitlin Clark was making the committee look more out of touch by the day. She wasn't just proving she belonged, she was making herself impossible to ignore.
Caitlin Clark, based on skill, based on how she was performing, deserved to be on that team. Based on Chelsea Gray coming off hobbled from injury, you don't even know the status of her as a player. Caitlin Clark should have been on that team. She was easily one of the best players from Jump Street. Her struggling, oh my God, she's struggling with 16 points, 6 assists, and 5.5 rebounds. Oh my God, the struggle. She's shooting 39%. Yeah, Jewel Lloyd always shoots like trash. Kelsey, you got... Come on, guys.
Sue Bird isn't just a legend, she's a visionary. And more importantly, she's not afraid to speak up. When the snub happened, Bird didn't duck the conversation. She acknowledged Clark's incredible impact and even called her the antidote to dunking, a reference to how Clark's long-range shooting had become must-see TV. Bird understood that basketball isn't just about fundamentals anymore. It's about connection, spectacle, momentum. And no one embodied that more than Caitlin Clark.
Take a look at this. These are the top 3 scorers in the WNBA since the women brought home gold in the Olympics a few weeks ago. 2 of the members are of the Indiana Fever, Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell.
By giving Bird full control over roster decisions, USA Basketball sent a powerful message. The future matters. Bird's appointment ensures that talent and marketability won't be treated as separate categories. They'll be part of the same conversation. She knows how to build teams that win and inspire. She played with the legends. She built trust with fans. And now, she's using that experience to make sure the next generation, starting with Clark, gets the stage it deserves.
There's so much conversation about women's basketball. The run you at South Carolina had to the national championship, a perfect season. Obviously, Caitlin Clark. And there was so much conversation on, should Caitlin be on the U.S. women's national team? You were part of the selection group. Mm-hmm. Give me your read on that now that we've got a little bit of time and we can get into some clear air to see what happened.
Right. When, as a committee member, you're charged with putting together best team of players, the best talent. Caitlin is just a rookie in the WNBA. Wasn't playing bad, but wasn't playing like she's playing now. If we had to do it all over again, the way that she's playing, she would be in really high consideration of making the team.
By the time the Los Angeles Olympics roll around in 2028, Caitlin Clark will be 26 years old. That's peak prime. That's when mind, body, and instinct align into something unstoppable. And this time, the spotlight won't just be ready for her. It'll be built for her. Hollywood, celebrity row, global headlines. Clark won't just make the team, she'll own the moment.
She is playing head and shoulders above a lot of people, shooting the ball extremely well. I mean, she is an elite passer.
If we were playing how she's playing now, she would be in high consideration. They can't even admit to themselves. If she was playing how she's playing now, yeah, she would definitely be on the team. We could have had our cake and eat it too. We got Kobe and LeBron on the same team. We did.
Imagine the storylines. Clark sharing the court with Angel Reese, former rivals turned teammates. The drama, the chemistry, the intensity. Every game will feel like a movie. These aren't just players, they're characters in a sports saga that fans will obsess over. With Sue Bird running the show, Clark will be positioned not just as a player, but as the centerpiece of a team built for this exact moment in time. It's no longer a question of if, it's a matter of how big.
Sue Bird is expected to be announced as the managing director for the USA women's national team for the 2028 Olympic cycle. She will take on what is known as the Grant Hill role, selecting player rosters and coaching staff. And for those of you who aren't too familiar with the WNBA or the women's side of Team USA, and Grant Hill's a little bit new in this role, Jerry Colangelo role. Jerry Colangelo, the godfather of Team USA basketball from 2005 to 2021, picking, I want him, I want him, I want him, I want him.
What started as an Olympic snub turned into a firestorm that reshaped USA basketball from the ground up. The old guard is gone, the committee is dismantled, and in their place stands Sue Bird, holding the blueprint for a new era. And at the center of that blueprint, Caitlin Clark. No longer the outsider, no longer the overlooked, but the heartbeat of a team that's finally ready to embrace the future.
Well, USA Basketball will announce a major shift in its structuring on Thursday when Sue Bird is announced as the managing director for the USA Women's National Team 2028 cycle. Her hiring is a departure from a long-standing structure of using a committee to select players and coaches for national team rosters, and comes on the heels of a very close call for the USA women in Paris.
This isn't just a redemption arc, it's a takeover. And by the time LA 2028 arrives, Caitlin Clark won't just be playing for gold. She'll be playing for a legacy that was almost stolen from her. The irony? The decision that once looked like the biggest mistake in USA basketball history may end up being the spark that changed everything. Sometimes, being left off the team is exactly what it takes to build a dynasty.
As financial opportunities for women grow in the sport and in marketing, USA Basketball wanted to make sure it was doing everything possible to ensure the allure of playing major international events remained strong, and a phone call from Bird is going to go a long way with players, one source close to the USA program said.
If you're ready to see Caitlin Clark dominate the Olympics and finally get the moment she deserves, drop a CC 2028 in the comments. Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because this redemption story is just getting started.